99% of men have no idea how to get a woman's body here on purpose. They fumble around, they go too soft, they stop at the wrong time, and then they wonder why she never squirts. And the worst part is, most of them believe it's some mystical reaction only porn girls can do, which is absolute bull. Look, it's not magic, it's not sacred water from the heavens, it's mostly, honestly, mixed with some fluid from her Skene's gland. If that grosses you out, then you're not ready for the kind of sex that makes her call you the best sex she's ever had. I'm not here to make this sound poetic, I'm here to show you how to make a complete mess on purpose. When you get this right, it's not just the orgasm that changes her, it's the way she looks at you afterward, like you rewired her brain. It's the brag she sends to her friends in the group chat the next morning when she's still regathering herself and smiling. And it's the memory she keeps coming back to every single time she thinks about letting another man into her bed. You either become the man who gives her the most intense release of her life, or the one she forgets entirely. And if you're listening to this thinking you've already got it handled, chances are you've barely scratched the surface. By the time we're done here, you'll know the setup, the sequence, the exact moves to push her over that squirting edge every single time. You'll be able to make it happen on command, and you'll know how to do it again and again without ever losing that spark. The first thing you need to understand is that her body won't get anywhere close to squirting if her mind isn't already halfway there. You'll need to get a head start before she's even naked, with the way you speak, touch, and even look at her. Some big tips here. Drop your voice lower than normal. Slow your words down, and give her more pauses than she's comfortable with. That space is where her imagination starts filling in what you might do next. And that's where arousal quietly begins to build up. Set the room up like you actually planned her brains out, not like she just happened to stop by. Dim, warm lighting, music with a slow, deep beat, and nothing in the background that kills the mood or reminds her of the humdrum of daily life. Avoid distractions or dirty socks on the floor. Light a candle with a scent that makes her lean in without even thinking. Vanilla, amber, lavender, or something dark and musty. When her senses are wrapped in that environment, her body's already leaning towards you before your hands ever touch her skin. Start with touches that don't feel like foreplay, but plant the idea that you could take her at any second, running your fingertips down the side of her neck while you're still talking about something completely unrelated. You're playing into her desires without confirming that things have fully started. Brush your hand over her hip when you walk past, slow enough that she knows you did it on purpose. The goal here is to make her skin aware of you everywhere, so she's primed before you've even undressed her. Once you fully start taking her clothes off, don't rush past the spots most men ignore on the way to the obvious ones. Kiss the inside of the elbows, stroke the back of her knees, feel the dip between her hip bone and her stomach. These are the areas that make her gasp because they're not used to being touched with that kind of attention. By the time you actually get your hands between her legs, her body will already be begging to let go. Now that she's on her back and her breathing's already deep, this is where most guys either rush or completely lose the moment. They think the heavy kissing means it's time to skip ahead, but that's exactly how you rob her of the best orgasm of her life. If you want her body to overflow for you, you need to keep stacking sensations until she can't hold them anymore. So in this next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to layer those touches so every single one drives her closer to letting go in the way you've never seen before. The first thing you do now is slow her body down, even more than her mind can handle. Kiss her slower than she expects, stopping in spots that make her hips twitch even though you're nowhere near her vagina yet. Use your fingertips to trace lazy circles over her thighs, not touching her center, but staying close enough to make her squirm. The tension you build here is the gasoline you'll light on fire once you finally touch her the way she's been begging for. When you finally do go lower, don't just dive in, give her body a slow, deliberate introduction to your mouth and your hands. Flatten your tongue against her clit, then pull back just before she fully registered the sensation, making her chase that contact. Slide one finger inside while your tongue teases, curling slightly but not with full pressure yet. Keep her on the edge. This is where her breathing changes. Her thighs start to tense up. She's no longer pretending that she's in control anymore. From here, add a second finger, curl them together, and match the rhythm of your tongue to the movement of your hand. Your free hand should be holding her hips down, letting her feel that you're not going anywhere no matter how hard she bucks. The moment her moans shift from high and quick to deeper and uncontrollable, that's when you increase your pressure by about 10%. That little shift tells her body you're paying attention, and it makes her trust you enough to let herself go that bit further. The entire time, keep your eyes on her face, because the visual connection here is just as powerful as anything you're doing physically. She'll look away when she's getting close, and that's when you tell her to look right at you. That command alone can push her over an edge she didn't even know she was leaning on. And the second you see her start to break, you lock in your rhythm like your life depends on it. Right now, she's on the verge. But if you stop here, you'll only ever give her one good orgasm, and that's it. Most men never learn how to take her past that point into the kind of release that just keeps coming. But if you know how to handle her body in those next 30 seconds, you can make her lose control again and again. And in this next part, I'm going to walk you through the exact moves to turn one orgasm into a flood she'll never forget. Here's the thing. The moment she starts to come, that's your cue to lock in your pace and ride it all the way through her climax. The reason most guys pull back or slow down is because they think she's too sensitive, but that's exactly when you can double down. Keep your fingers curled towards the belly button. Same rhythm, same pressure, and use your thumb or your palm to keep her clit engaged. And if you can keep that intensity for even 10 seconds longer than feels natural, her body will tip into another wave without even resetting. When the fluid starts to release, don't pause, keep your hand moving like nothing happened, because her body is already primed for more. Angle your fingers slightly higher inside like you're scooping upwards while keeping the outside stimulation steady. And don't use your nails, make sure you're applying even pressure on your fingertips. This combination tricks her muscles into clenching around you, while the pressure inside keeps triggering the Skene's gland. The more consistent you are, the more she'll relax into it instead of trying to fight that sensation. Once she's squirted for the first time, you've got about 20 to 30 seconds before her body decides whether to reset or keep going. Your job in that window is to keep her connected to you with your eyes and your voice. Tell her to stay with you. Tell her she's doing so good, and let her hear the steadiness in your voice. Then the cherry on top, you change your rhythm slightly once she's given you a second squirt. You go faster for 5 seconds, then you drop back to the original pace, which shocks her system and pulls her over again. You can repeat this cycle 3, 4, even 5 times if her body's fully relaxed and trusting you. That's how you turn one messy orgasm into a marathon she'll never stop thinking about. If you're new here, by the way, this is the kind of detail I break down every week, so stick around because we're just getting started. You've got her body doing things she didn't even think were possible, but this is where most men accidentally hit the brakes. They think the squirting is the finish line, but in reality, it's just the doorway to something even better. There's one more move that changes everything, and it's the kind of thing that makes her see you completely differently as a man. How do you end it like you own it? Here's exactly how. You don't just collapse beside her, you don't roll over, and definitely don't start talking about how crazy it was. You stay between her legs, you slow your movement down, and run your hands up her thighs, over her hips, across her stomach like you're claiming her. Let your touch tell her you're still in control of this moment, and even after her body's completely given out. Then you lean down, kiss her neck slowly, and you whisper something that makes her feel like this was yours and hers alone. It could be as simple as "you're mine," or "you don't even know how good you look right now." Your tone is key. You want to aim for low, certain, and unrushed, like you've got nothing to prove because you already proved it. That single moment plants the memory in her head as something intimate, not just physical. And here's the part no one tells you. This is the frame she'll remember longer than anything you did with your hands. It's not the mess. It's not the squirting itself. It's the way you've made her feel owned and safe at the same time. That's the combination that keeps her coming back, keeps her telling her friends you're the best she's ever had, and again, creates that trust. You want to be unforgettable. You don't just give her release, you give her the story that she'll replay in her head for years. If you can master this part, you'll never be the guy she forgets. You'll be the one she measures every man after you against, whether she admits it out loud or not. That's why what we just walked through isn't a trick, it's the standard for a man who knows his craft. And if you want to know in more detail how to give her multiple orgasms, then check the video on the screen right now. It's the exact skill guide that takes everything we just covered to the next level. Continue on this journey to make yourself the man she never stops thinking about before another man steals it from you.